The vast space-themed movies in the past are generally made by European and American. And now the Korean film proves that the Asian film industry is also capable of produce such theme. Other than excellent entertainment, this is also quite a milestone in Korean film industry. The background of the story is set in the year 2092. The Earth's environmental pollution situation seriously deteriorated. A giant space station adjacent to the Earth was formed and became a pleasant new residence, which also produced new occupation related to space. Space sweeper. Main protagonists are one of them. One day, the Victory crew accidentally found a wandering little girl, Dorothy. Initially they planned to send her back to the people eager to find her in exchange for reward, but later they found that there are more mystery to Dorothy's life, which also leads to a big conspiracy related to the survival of the Earth. The application of special effects is an important highlight of this film. Space sweepers in a number of aspects can reflect the excellent level in this element, such as the space elevator between the space station and the Earth, is shaped quite a sense of science and technology, a sense of the future. The space station and its ancillary facilities, as well as many spacecraft designs, are also create visual enjoyment you can found in Hollywood blockbusters. In the special effects rendering, the deterioration of the Earth's environment able to leave enough impression in a very short period of time. Compared with many of the settings of the film, the spaceship, the Victory, on the surface doesn't have too much attracting elements, the ship's size is not huge, the appearance is definitely not cool looking or beautiful. However, this setting is actually related to the positioning of the movie. This is a ship that collects space garbage in exchange for remuneration. Basically a space garbage truck, and the financial situation is quite unsatisfactory. So ordinary, humble appearance making it more realistic, closer to the story, but did not reduce the quality of the film. About the Victory crew members in the film is also just right. 4 crew members is more than enough. Other than enough to hold up the story, but also allow each character to have a more reasonable weight. The composition of the team also has certain characteristics. The space cleaning team composed of 1 female captain, 2 crew members, and 1 android. The diversity of personnel is a guarantee of fun. In terms of character shaping, the protagonist Kim Tae-ho's image is more approachable, helping the audience to integrate into the plot, and his first appearance can also make people feel that there is a story behind this character, so that the characterization has more potential. The image of another crew member, Tiger Park, has an image of mafia mob. But under the boorish appearance, it also hides the softness. The female captain, Captain Jong, is a strong woman, her words and deeds can always naturally reflect the leadership temperament. The android Bubs has an ordinary looks, not to win with the science fiction texture, but its interaction with humans almost can make people forget its android identity. Other than the distinctive features on 4 main characters, the living situation is not ideal is the biggest common denominator. Which also what's the film oriented, has a strong atmosphere of grassroots people trying to make a living in adversity. How these 4 characters achieve the goals has become an exciting content, and bring more turning point in life to the story. The appearance of the little girl, Dorothy, is the key turning point of the Victory. The film has placed some effort on the role of Dorothy. And at the beginning, through narrative techniques, people think that she is not an ordinary little girl, and even through special settings, people will feel a little nervous when they are trying to get along with her. When the crew members of the Victory just found Dorothy, the film also timely used the particularity of her role set, so that the crew and Dorothy interpersonal interaction has a lot of interesting drama, and create a reasonable entertainment for the film. With the development of the story, the relationship between Dorothy and the crew members of the Victory has changes differently. The appearance of the little girl at first is only a cash cow to solve the Victory financial crisis. However, when the crew members spent more time with Dorothy, this lay out the emotional temperature in a timely manner, the relationship between them become a successful emotional characterization. At the same time, it also allows the story-oriented and main characters to be reasonably sublimated, successfully transformed from personal interests to moral and human touch. Dorothy is someone where 2 parties are looking for. One is willing to pay a lot of money to redeem her, one is going to use force to grab people. Naturally, it is easy to create a strong sense of conflict in the process. The war in the club shape a quite dramatic tension, which also introduce the armed space guard, wearing exoskeleton armor combat, which has become an adventure and add a challenging aspect for our crew members in the future. Space Sweepers has a good texture on the storyline, such as why everyone is looking for Dorothy, and even triggered a fierce battle to grab people. The film gave quite a highlight of the score, make full use of Dorothy's background story to make a fuss, and able to give a wonderful flip. Although Dorothy's role is still very special, but the characteristics are very different from the previous, and making her add a highlight on science fiction, which has become an important element in the future related to the development of the story, and deepen the value of the role. Other than Dorothy background story, which also show the villain's plot that will bring a major crisis to the Earth. This also magnifies the pattern of the film, and the adventures of the crew members of the Victory are no longer just related to their own situation, but related to the future of mankind, making the story more fascinating. At the same time, the relevant plot also reflects the villain's twisted mentality, so that the film has a strong contrast of good and evil. About how the 4 crew members deal with the upcoming crisis, in the process Taeho's sublimation of mentality has become a quite emotional strength. The process of adventure also contains a good twist, hiding the real plan of the main role, and when the truth is exposed, it is quite a surprise. The scene can be seen even more a cinch. The process contains a number of fierce space war between spaceships, so that the film has Star Wars, StarCraft series of gorgeous space scenes. The decision made by the characters shows that they have transformed from ordinary people who focus on their personal interests, to heroes with noble sentiments. And the second half of the film has a similar atmosphere of hero films. The ending of Space Sweepers did not deliberately has Easter eggs for a sequel, but the world view of the story itself is quite attractive and also has potential for development. Character shaping and growth curve are more full and lovable. I believe that many viewers are looking forward to the film sequel. Even if in the future for various reasons did not have a sequel, in terms of the texture of the film alone, is enough to be called a success, making the space theme is no longer Hollywood-only theme. We have done talking about the good, now about the bad. There is not much outer space type of science fiction film content in Korea. This Space Sweepers is a real test of the market. Using the popularity of joong-ki and others, opened the market for such Korean science fiction movies. However, the biggest problem of Space Sweepers is not about how much help is used, but the thinking of the whole film, which is still a typical Korean urban commercial film, and does not open any effective new ideas on science fiction content. Space Sweepers is more like a high imitation of Guardians of the Galaxy and other sci-fi films. It is not too much to say that Space Sweepers is a hodgepodge of Hollywood sci-fi films. More seriously, Space Sweepers is like all the surface of Hollywood sci-fi films mixed into one, but the core content of the film is still a typical Korean urban commercial film, which is based on distrust of high-end top commercial companies. From the surface, in Space Sweepers, the war between spaceships are nicely used. Obviously, these elements are already a common content from Hollywood sci-fi films. Space suit, aviation combat, the protagonist has been in the dark, the final mystery was revealed, and the villain began to fight to the death, are also typical Hollywood routines. Space sci-fi theme eventually became the battlefield where everyone can fly and shoot in the universe with big plane. This is actually a lack of sci-fi imagination. In current Hollywood's sci-fi films theme, it's just a different place to make a war film. Previously war films were on Earth, now you can use special effects technology to make these scenes in space. Whether it is Space Sweepers or Hollywood's own sci-fi film are also lost in this routine. Sci-fi films is such in Hollywood, the more you watch, the more you will feel that all the routines are the same. The charm of sci-fi films is that they can provide imagination that is more transcendent to reality. When all the sci-fi content in a sci-fi film is the content that the audience fans have been able to imagine, then the sci-fi film has no value. For the creators of sci-fi films, how to put forward content beyond the imagination of fans in their own films is the most important consideration of whether the quality is excellent. For this film, many female fans may watch because of joong-ki. However, Hallyu stars have always been a double-edged sword. Although joong-ki provided a relatively good looks for Space Sweepers, but it did not provide the age of the role or even the acting skills. In this film, the man was once a private of the outer space base construction company, because he saw through the truth and adopted a space-abandoned baby, so he was demoted to Earth. In the main character, there should has a sense of experienced life. However, in the whole Space Sweepers film, fans cannot see this on joong-ki's clean, smooth face. Even the father-daughter love between the man and the abandoned baby that the film wants to shape, but not able to bring that out because of joong-ki's young face. The female captain is an important aspect of the film. In the film, tae-ri presents a more tough female image, especially during the space battle. This able meet the expectations of female fans for her independent image. In specific performance, tae-ri's overall performance is also better than joong-ki. On the whole, Space Sweepers get only 54 points on Rotten Tomatoes is also inevitable. But nevertheless, Space Sweepers is still a good movie to watch. What do you think about the movie? Let us know in the comments section below. If you made this far, I assumed you like our content, then you can consider subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, we will meet again in the next video.